Hi, this is Shu with a review of an unexpected finding that I've had recently from Nike. This is the Signal dimsix. It's called dimsix, which is a short form for Dimension 6, which was a name that the founder and former CEO of Nike that had some zany ideas, but thought that zany idea of having that name as a brand name could have worked, but faced some opposition among some of the employees, and one of the employees actually had a cooler name, Nike, which reportedly came up in his dreams while he was doing research, so maybe it was something that he ran into but he fell asleep while he was doing his research. Nike, of course, is from Greek mythology, something related to victory, or the goddess of victory. It was a cooler name than Dimension 6, but Phil Knight did come up with the name Blue Ribbon Sports, which was the original name for Nike. So I suppose after he retired, the staff at Nike wanted to pay a little bit of homage, or show some, I guess, appreciation. So they came up with this name, D/MS/X. I thought it was like, is this a Nike Reebok DMX collaboration? So I was really excited about it, but no, it's not DMX, it's Dim6, as in Dimension 6. This one is called the Nike Signal Dim6. People had their skepticisms and doubts and criticism about it, but I think this is one of the best product by Nike out there today. It's been out for close to more than half a year, I think, and I've only recently found out about it. The most standout feature is this outrigger, or this support panel. It's all TP or hardened TP or plastic. It extends from the midfoot, and it provides a very deep groove, decoupled midsole. I don't know what this little hole is for, to clip the shoe up. I'd really like to know what this is about, so please educate me if you know what exactly this is supposed to serve. But I do know that this little ridge, it provides a little bit more firmness and rigidity or resistance towards warping this way. So it's going to be providing a level of spring or energy return in that way. Instead of having the midfoot shank or the plate going in the midsole, they decided to spread it on the lateral side, which is great, because at the same time it provides a level of lateral anti-lateral inversion support, so you won't be spraining your ankle that way. And at the same time, the base of the shoe is quite broad, so that itself should provide some adequate support in terms of preventing ankle injuries or ankle rollover. So this is great for people who want to have some lateral movements, or people who tend to sprain their foot even if they're moving in a forward motion. But at the same time, if you're an overpronator, you might feel like there's some resistance. I mean, there should be resistance to prevent you from overpronating, but sometimes some people are complaining that it gets in the way of ensuring the wearers experience cushioning fully, because there's a little bit of resistance here. But I had no problems with that because I'm not an overpronator. I'm more of a neutral runner. And most of the times I'll be doing more side-to-side movements. I'll be even playing hoops in these shoes as well. So I'll be more underpronating, so there's a lot of cushioning provided there. As you can tell by this little defining line and some different shades of gray or white, reportedly, there's no definite tech spec available online, but there is a different sensation or different level of resistance among these two layers. So reportedly, these two React foam have a bit of a different density. So that's similar to the Pegasus Turbo that's been launched recently that had Zoom X, but the Zoom X was like only about this little amount, and the other half or 2/3 of it was React. So I had a bit of a complaint about that shoe not using entirely Zoom X like they did with the Vaporflies. The thing about this shoe is it actually feels like the entire thing is as plush and soft, not as responsive, but as plush and soft as Zoom X. If this is just pure React, this is the most softest, comfortable React foam models out there. Way better than Epic React or any other React, mainstream React models out there. So if you're looking for that, go for it. And it has a very huge heel-to-toe drop. So it feels like there's this level of, also probably because of the midfoot shank and the way the outrigger is structured to provide some resistance. There's a very strong propulsion type of sensation as you step on your heel and move yourself or lunge yourself forward. So that thrusting, guiding motion, it's really good for runners. The cushioning is it's really soft. So some people might complain if you're the kind of person that feels like mushy shoe give you shin splints, then you might want to experiment with this a little bit. The insole is not incredibly thick. It's only a minimal ortholite insole, so it complements the shoe well. But the midsole, again, the dual density React foam is amazing. This little strap contraption here, it's supposed to provide some additional lockdown, pulling the heel tab forward a little bit, but it doesn't hinder your movement or provide any chafing into your skin or anything like that. So this is well constructed. It's soft, but it's rigid enough to pull and provide lockdown. Instead of fly wires, they use these little synthetic leathery type of plastic material that stretches from all the way from the midsole to the lace loop. So lockdown is certainly good as having fly wires all over the side, lateral, and the medial side of the shoe. The material is quite similar to what you've seen if you're a basketball shoe junkie, the Kobe FF that had this weird material, except this is a little bit more durable and it feels a lot more perforated, but there's a lot, just like the Kobe FF, there's not a lot of ventilation going on here, even if this nylon type of plasticky mesh material inside of it has this engineered mesh type of material. It's pretty thick, and it's the dual layer provides, I think it actually keeps your foot warm rather than provide extra ventilation. So that's something you should keep in mind. It's not waterproof, but it's not providing excellent ventilation. So it's a mysterious combination, not the best of both worlds. And looking at the outsoles, it's because this is a bit of a tribute to Phil Knight, the founder of Nike and the guy who experimented with the late Mr. Ballman to come up with innovative designs or innovative ways of coming up with new type of shoes for athletes. They were focused on runners, and the first outsole they manufactured at home using broken waffle iron was the waffle outsole. So there's a little bit of an homage or a tribute there. And at the same time, I mean, these waffle square buds or nodules are pretty protruded enough, so they should provide some durable traction, right? But at the same time, they've added these flowy ribbed pattern here. So this is quite similar to, I mean, it provides lateral resistance or traction. It's sort of similar to the kind of traction that they've had, which stirred quite a sensation among basketball shoe users with the Jordan 28s. The 28 outsole pattern was quite a sensation. I don't know why they continue to use that or continue to build on that, because the recent Jordan's traction have not been exactly wonderful. So anyway, this is a very, very excellent pair of Nikes that's really unexpected, and it weighs less than 300. It's like 280 grams for a size 9. It fits true to size. If you don't like if you don't like the upper sticking around your feet, then you might want to go up half a size. But other than that, unless you have really wide feet, I would recommend just going true to size. If you have really narrow or short feet, then maybe down half a size. But true to size would be recommended for a firm, snug fit. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about this shoe. I've had anger-charged criticisms about the model that is supposedly dedicated to the retired Phil Knight, with a nice little marketing gimmick of having sloth, snail, and turtles wearing the shoes to walk or run casually, called the Cruiser one. That they claim to have a lot of React in it, but it didn't feel like they had anything in it. It was rock hard, heavy, and uncomfortable, and expensive. This one, it cost like $50. It's already on sale, and I do hope they stick with this concept of providing a very thick, dense level of dual density React foam. This is amazing, and because the Nike tab actually had the one that describes air soles in it, so I'm thinking this shoe might actually have a little air capsule or aerosol unit, a minimal aerosol unit at the heel. Wearing this, it feels just as comfortable and just as responsive, and it feels just as bouncy as the Zoom Vomero 14, which actually had full-length React with a full-length Zoom. I mean, not as bouncy or not exactly like the Vomero 14, which had the full-length Zoom and the full-length React, but it felt just as good. But it's a lot thicker in the heel. The mushiness or the comfort factor is higher than Vomero 14, and the propulsion factor is higher than the Vomero 14.